Hi guys, welcome back to my somewhat neglected YouTube channel. I always come on here when I have something worth discussing at length, and today I wanted to come on and share kind of the whole story of my chronic pain journey, specifically chronic migraine. I've been starting to talk a lot about this on Instagram, and I did used to blog really seriously and Instagram and be like a serious Instagrammer. And I've kind of gotten a little more flexible about it in the past few years since like going to college and graduating and things like that. But it is a platform, everybody has one, and I feel like lately I've been using it to share about my life, and a huge part of that is like the chronic pain that I suffer from. But I realized that if you're just stumbling across my Instagram or you just don't know and you're like, what are you talking about? It might be helpful for there to be this video with the whole story. So I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet, but I'm gonna start at the beginning, which was my junior year of high school. That was probably when I first had like true migraines. I definitely had headaches before. Don't know what it's like to never have a headache. I've heard people say that before. And I started getting these really bad migraines like junior year of high school, so it was about 16. It was a very stressful time of my life. That's a whole other story, but could have been the stress that kind of brought them on, but my mom has always dealt with them, and my grandma, her mom, used to deal with them as well. So it's also kind of hereditary. I have a predisposition to them. It was super uncomfortable. I missed school. I missed like a standardized test and had to take it over the summer because I had a migraine that day. It was awful. Just stayed in bed a lot. Really had a hard time. Eventually went to a neurologist. I think it must have been the same one that my mom saw. And I was put on preventative medication. So I would take something daily to keep the migraines at bay. And I did much better in a few months. I don't really remember the specifics, but I do remember that by the time I was a senior in high school and then went off to college, I really wasn't dealing with migraines very often, if at all. So I guess you can say that the medicine worked, or at least that change in lifestyle, getting out of a few stressful situations, really helped. And I want to keep that kind of, this is the beginning of the story, but you'll see that it definitely morphs over time. Pain and your response to it changes over time. So spoiler alert, these preventative medicines didn't work for me later on. So I was good for a few years, had headaches, had like a bad headache every once in a while, not a big deal. And then, as you guys probably know, if you watch my YouTube videos or follow me on Instagram, where I'm vulnerable as heck, I developed an eating disorder my junior year of college, like around that time. So a big trigger for migraines for me is blood sugar. I've always been somebody that is really affected by low blood sugar. Even as a little kid, always had snacks on me because I would get hangry, I would get horrible chest pains. Anytime we went to a restaurant and there was a wait and I walked in like starving and then we had to wait for like 40 minutes, I had to lay down. Like my chest would hurt so bad. I was so lightheaded. I just never was one of those people who was like, oh darn, I can't eat right now. Like I'll just push through. It really affected me. My dad's like this too. So again, I think it's just something hereditary. So where was I going with that? I started thinking about my dad. Now I need to call him. Hi, Dad. Okay, so because I was going through this eating disorder, I obviously wasn't eating enough. So I started to get a few migraines again, and that was not fun, but they were kind of sporadic. But I remember on October 23rd, 2017, because I always remember important dates, October 23rd, 2017, I got a migraine. I was waiting for dinner to be ready. Dinner was running late and I was really hungry, probably hadn't eaten enough that day. And so I just started to get a migraine and I was like, crap. And I told my dad about it and he was like, go eat, like go out to eat with Cameron. Don't worry about eating with us. It's more important that you eat. Like my family knew that I was like the low blood sugar queen. It's just something I dealt with. So ended up, Cameron and I went out to eat. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll start to feel better. But the next morning, woke up with the same migraine. And this continued for days. It was like 8 days when we finally called the neurologist. We did not have an appointment, but my dad was like, she needs to come in like today. She's had a migraine for 8 days. Like he's very convincing. He's like, she can't live like this. You have to see her. So we talked to the nurse into getting me into the same day, like the next hour, to come in and be seen. My neurologist, who hadn't seen me since I was like 17, was like, oh, hey, you're back. Like, I don't know, 5 years later or something. And put me on a whole bunch of medication, some of which I had took previously, and was like, okay, this worked for you before. Let's get you back on this, see if it helps. Didn't really understand where this pain flare was coming up. I was in denial for like months and months and months that it had anything to do with my eating. And I was like, I must have a brain tumor, something must be wrong. Nothing was helping that medication. Those medications didn't help at all. I went to the chiropractor, I got massages, I went to acupuncture. Little relief with everything. Like, I would kind of feel momentary relief, but it wouldn't be long lasting. And I was just taking so much medicine, so many pain meds, and I'm not proud of it. I mean, like, I wasn't like abusing pain meds, but I mean, like, I just was like, oh, that Tylenol didn't work. Let me try this, let me try that. And I would have to take like really hard pain meds, like stuff they give you after surgery, just to feel like a little relief. And even so, my baseline was that I always still had like a little bit of pain over my right eye. So the headache never moved. And, you know, for a while in the beginning there, I was like, you know, I'd miss class or I'd cancel hanging out with a friend because of my migraines. And then because I basically had a migraine that just was not going away for months, I was like, I just have to start doing life with an extreme amount of pain. And that is so hard. And I know people who do this every day, myself included. And it's like, I think you have to be a really physically and mentally strong person to do it. It is no joke to just like walk through life in pain every day. I took tests in pain. I hung out with friends in pain. I went to bars until midnight, like when somebody really wanted me to go out and it was like a special occasion and I didn't want to disappoint them, I wanted to be there for them. I was at a loud bar like next to the DJ at like 11:30 at night drinking water and like in a sincere amount of pain. So I did all these things with a migraine, and it kind of put a cloud over everything, and like it really, really, really messes with your mental health, because you just can't be the person you want to be. You can't do the things that you used to do, and that is so difficult. So around February of 2018, so a little bit over a year ago now, I finally went back into getting treated for my eating disorder. And if you want to learn more about that, you can see my most recent video, which was my eating disorder recovery story. And my main reason for going there was like, look, I admit defeat. I have migraines. I'm pretty sure it's because my blood sugar is tanked all the time, and I need to do something about it. But this was like going to be the slowest process ever. I never share numbers or anything like that, so I won't today, but like I was at a very, very, very low weight, which was much below probably my comfortable set point weight. So I had a lot of weight to gain. And while sometimes weight gain can be rapid in recovery, or it's pretty rapid in a general sense, it still was the longest process ever to get healthy and like eat enough and put on the weight that I needed. And even when I did get back to a good healthy weight where like my organs weren't in trouble, I wasn't having any heart issues, I wasn't having blue extremities and all this stuff, I still was dealing with the migraines daily. And my honest opinion is that my body like did not trust me. And if you know anything about eating disorders or like eating disorder recovery, then you might be familiar. I mean, not everybody deals with migraines because of this. I'm kind of a little bit special in that case, but everybody has really hard symptoms because of restriction or binging or whatever it may be. And those don't necessarily go away when you get healthy, because your body is like no, you screwed me over once. Now I'm gonna have like defense mechanisms to make sure that you feed me enough and you take care of me. So I think my body was just like, I have trust issues. I can't trust, even though you're much healthier, I can't like regulate the way that I used to. So still dealt with those migraines, and that was really hard because I was like, what the heck? I did the hardest thing in my life was get better, and I did it because I wanted to be free of these migraines. And while they did get a lot better, I'll totally admit that they did get better. I was starting to be able to go 2, 3, 4, 5-day stretches, almost entire weeks, without a migraine attack or like a big episode. I was able to not take as much migraine medication, maybe just like have a Tylenol here and there if I had like a small headache. I was getting through it. I would still probably have a migraine once a week, a couple every 2 weeks, have a bad week where I had a bunch because I was on my period or something. But I was able to go to work. I was able to hang out with people. I was able to go out, like all these things. So I'd say that started happening around Christmas time, like the holidays, just this past year, where I started to feel like I kind of had a lot of my life back, which was really nice and great. And I'm very thankful, and I'm glad that I did all the hard work. But now we kind of are at the present. So it's currently August of 2019. So I've been in recovery, and I'll always say in recovery. I'll never say recovered because you're never really recovered from an eating disorder. You're always like actively in recovery, and you're at different stages and all that kind of thing. I'm sorry I'm getting shorter. I was like sitting on my legs, but they started to hurt, but it's the weird height. But yeah, I've been in recovery since March of 2018. So a year and some change, and I'm still dealing with migraines, and they got really bad when I moved to Austin, which was only 4 weeks ago. And I think it's just a lot of stress because I did move, I had to leave my job. So currently like looking for a new job, figuring out what I want to do. That's very stressful for me because I like to have routine, whole new city. I love Austin. I might love it more than Houston, I'm sorry. But I love Austin, so it's like a lot of good things, but it's definitely stress. We're getting married in 2 months, and we have a lot to do. And I'm planning the wedding. I don't have like a wedding planner or anything, so lots of stress. So I think that's kind of kicked things up. Also moving to a new place, there's new allergens and stuff, and I'm very sensitive. And then my blood sugar is still an issue. Like if I try to meet up with friends and they're being indecisive about where they want to eat dinner, and we end up somewhere and it has a huge wait and we eat late, like I'm done, like I'm toast, and it stinks. And I try to take care of myself. I try to bring snacks. Sorry, I'm adjusting. I have glucose tabs. I basically kind of treat myself like a diabetic, even though I don't have diagnosed diabetes. It's totally safe for me to have glucose tabs. And also to check my glucose. I have a glucose monitor just because I am hypoglycemic, so I do struggle. So yeah, I have glucose tabs in my purse. I have candy. I always have snacks, but sometimes it's hard. My blood sugar is very finicky still. And things like working out too hard, not sleeping, getting too hot. It's really, really hot right now. It's August in Texas. Those irritate it. So it's kind of everything at once right now. So I've been really in the thick of it. I've been having a pain flare. I do feel great today, hence why I'm filming a video. I have a little to no pain. And I did just to update you. I have a little blog post on my site. It actually got published the day I'm filming this. I'm gonna link it down below. But I kind of have like my whole protocol right on there right now, like what vitamins I'm taking for my migraines, what I'm taking over the counter for migraines, what I'm taking prescription, kind of lifestyle changes I'm doing. I'm not doing like super hardcore exercise. I actually got a gym membership to the YMCA to utilize yoga and their indoor pools. I'll probably start swimming laps. And doing like cardiovascular exercise, like the bike and the elliptical is okay. That's really good for me. But no more running right now, or like any super intense workout. So all that's on my blog, just so you can know like where I'm at right now. But I wanted this video to be where I have come from, and just kind of my whole journey. I also did start Amivig. If any of you out there are chronic migraine sufferers, I have to say a huge thank you, because I always like to reach out on Instagram and use like the question feature to get some feedback. And I was asking about what people treat their migraines with, whether that's over the counter, natural, whatever. And so many of you recommended that I do Amivig or Emgality, which are these, it's like a new class of medicine, I guess you could say, where it's an injectable. So you give yourself a shot once a month, and as a preventative measure for migraines, it's supposed to really lower the amount of migraines days that you have. And I did my first Amivig shot yesterday, gave myself a shot. I'm still bragging about that. I have no idea how I managed to do that. It did hurt, and I did almost miss like 18 times, but it's fine. I did it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm having trouble sleeping. I'm stressed. I'm trying to like really take care of my emotional and mental health, because I know that those also play such a huge part in my migraines. And I totally know that, because when I was, that's probably a different video if you want me to make it, but I had a really hard time in junior year of high school, and that's when the migraines came on. It was like a very stressful time. So I am doing a lot of things here and there to really help myself out and just like enjoy life, slow down, and be healthy, like just take care of myself. So if you're interested in kind of seeing the day-to-day, then if you don't already, I'd follow me on Instagram. Shameless plug, because I'll post all of it, no shame. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you also struggle with any kind of chronic pain or chronic migraine, I would absolutely love to hear from you. If you want to comment on the video, if you want to send me an email, DM me on Instagram. Like, I'd just love to hear what your story is, what's helped you, and that sort of thing. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.